What's up, guys? Welcome to my tiny desk. And today, while I was taking a nap with Ivy, I had a dream, and I had to write about it because I don't want to be all over the place, but I still remember this dream vividly. So I wrote about it, and I called it Shifting Gears. So here's what happened. I was on a motorcycle. There's a motorcycle going on in the background. Crazy. And I want to be honest. I want to be very transparent. This is the third time. This is take 2. And every time I say I was on a motorcycle rode past. That's how true it is. But stay with me here. Anyway. I was on a motorcycle. Rain slicked the highway. Three others were riding too. Strangers, but familiar in spirit. There was no destination, just motion. And I would like to say, it seemed like a race, but it was unspoken urgency. As I merged left, weaving through open pockets between the cars like I've done it before, I felt the speed under me, and for a moment, I was free. Sound a little like Biker Boys, but that's how I felt. But then I bumped into the back of a truck, which happens to be a postal truck. Now, if anybody knows, I slightly work for the post office. I get into that another story, into my Dear Summer poetry. I get into that. But anyway, I bumped into this postal truck. Not enough to fall, but enough to feel the weight of a warning. Enough to make me ease up and slow down. And when I hit this postal truck, my tail end lifted up and it flopped back down. It was one of those type of things like, okay, whoa, slow down. But anyway, then someone else passed me. Fast. Too fast. I watched him crash into a bus. Ironically, I just took the test for the MTA bus. Keep that in mind too. I watched him crash into the bus hard. It was violent, unforgiving. His bike mangled. His body separated. His head still inside the helmet, like a symbol of what could have been me. And in the dream, I had pulled over and the bike was totaled. The body was like a couple feet ahead. And then people were screaming like, where's his head? Where's the rest of the body? And I walked over to the body so calmly for some odd reason, and I picked it up. And in the helmet, it was me. I went to ChatGPT because I like to get a further understanding of certain things, because I like to be informative. But as I woke up, I just laid there. I laid there in silence. And then I also hear motorcycles as I'm telling ChatGPT about my dream. And I'm going to get into what ChatGPT said about this. 1. Motorcycle. The motorcycle. It says, that bike is you in motion. It's independence, risk, and speed. Your journey of control and freedom. You've been in a space lately where you're moving fast with purpose, new gear, new direction, more intention with your projects. But it's also been an emotional terrain. And if anybody knows, my poems, they have been kind of emotional. Anybody that knows, you gotta go through the storm before there's sunshine anyway. And the rain in the dream, the wet road, the rain symbolized uncertainty or emotional heaviness you're still riding through. 2. The postal truck. Think about that. another motorcycle. Think about that. A postal truck that could connect directly to your real life postal job. Something you've been separated from but still tied to energetically. Bumping into it in the back end lifting up represent unfinished business or residue weight. Or residual weight from that chapter. But notice what happened. You didn't fall. You stabilized and kept going, slower but wiser. That's symbolic of learning to move forward without crashing, even when your path collides with the past. Let me read that again. That's symbolic of learning to move forward without crashing, even when your path collides with the past. And it's so funny. I get to find out this week coming about my job again. Once again, I'll talk about that another time. Now the other riders. Those riders might represent the version of people, maybe people moving recklessly or energy around you that's rushing ahead without caution. As I'm reading, I asked ChatGPT and I said, were the two riders me? Because I really realized, like, now that I think about it, why I was so calm. And then oftentimes, images are you, you just don't remember it. Other entities in your dream are you, they're just different versions of you. So I asked, and ChatGPT said, the first rider who sped off and disappeared might represent the ideal version of you, the one that's focused, free, and ahead. This version is possible. He's not dead, he's just gone. Maybe meaning he's on a different timeline. You didn't follow him blindly, you tried to find your own speed. The second rider who crashed might symbolize the version of you that never slowed down, never paid attention to the warning signs, and kept pushing through storms, and it caught up to him. And it says, so here's the deep truth. You stood in the middle of two futures. One showed you what's possible if you move smart. The other showed you what happens if you don't. That's deep. And it makes sense too. And it makes sense to me because I'm living through it. Now, it says, why you focus on the one that crashed? That's trauma recognition. Survival instinct growth. You couldn't ignore it because it felt familiar. It shocked you. It warned you. And dreams don't show you tragedy without purpose. That moment wasn't just about fear. It was about clarity. I just wanted to share that dream with y'all because I just began all these signs about just what I'm going through in life. And I feel like that's one of those dreams. Definitely since I stopped smoking, my visions have been more clearer. And that's just one of those dreams that I had to really pause and say, this means something. Because it felt like it really meant something. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope it comes out correct. I hope I said that right. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. And thank you for listening. If you listen, peace.